This is Charles Bachman. I'm going to be reading a few poems from my book, I Ride the Dark Wind Horse. All these poems are based on nightmares. The iron weight, down in the cellar. I pick up the heavy sash cord weight, pound, pound. The hard bulk will not separate. I swing with more force, bring it down harder. Again, the mass will not crack. I fling it hard. It resonates against the concrete wall, the rough surface of floor. Needing it still, darkling I search, search. You bastard, damn you, where are you? My yelling, no use. Something feathers my spine. I did not mean, please forgive, I did not mean it. Enclosure. Unease in the room. High ceilings, a few chairs, table, something mephitic soaked in from outside before doors were sealed. The younger says, "They may handle the low-room poison." The older says, "I have my silver blade axe. Breathe again then." The Mummy's Ghost. Deep in pyramidal depths, a quiescent pharaoh wrapped, well embalmed in heavy-lid sarcophagus. Up in the copse of a cranial hill, a eucalyptus tree with leaves that never lose their fragrant unruffledness. Visiting comes the demonic professor to start the fire, smoldering them into an aromatic smoke, drawing the mummy zombie-like to tear away his bandages, lift the lid of his stone coffin, forcing his way, injuring dogs, all else that impede, as he makes his inevitable ascent upward into consciousness, glutting his smell and taste to full vigor of his parched spirit, letting the poem once again appear. Board meeting. A 4-year-old in pajamas. My father, the school principal, tells me he and my mother must go to a board meeting. In bed, I squirm in depressed fear that they both will be nailed to a board, crucified. Outside a room. Inside a room in a Latin American country, 2 men, associates and I, waited. Something was afoot. A guard sat outside. We had to stay put. Quickly, I glanced outside the door for any motion in the long hall. The guard sat in his pose, dead. Not wishing to alarm my associates, I said nothing. We continued to lounge, confer. I opened the door for another look. The guard's legs had disappeared, his torso and face an ashen statue. Over the phone, a woman friend said they had given him the rites of Day of the Dead. I informed my associates. Power had changed hands since we had entered the room. We were on edge. A knock. A distinguished, gray-haired man entered. Friendly, He asked how we were. Wanting relief, we replied, "Yes," a taut wire in our voices. He turned from the others to me, standing near the door, aimed a revolver at my head, fired, hit in the forehead. I fell face down. Though air kept moving in and out of my lungs, I played dead, sure I would be shot again. He finally left. No more shots were fired. Past the long hall, far down the veranda, a blur of women in festive costumes. Bright orange they were, yellow. I knew there was a part I would play once I had risen. It would become clear as the episode unwound. Owlosaur. My main worry, alive, the low alcove, furtive image of an ant-shaped spider 200 times the size of any I had seen, peering, half dreading to notice it again. Beneath a thin cross-beam, a hoof-foot, dinosaur-like, more startling than any arachnid. Above the cross-piece, the upper body, behemoth-sized chimera, its sly owl visage weighing me with its talon eye. Backwardser. Between the steel verticals of a top-story window, a dark cloud of scorpion floating backwards, his curved, sting-clad tail on the way to misty diffusion, ready to strike any sensed attacker. Dr. Past. My brain chatters me, follow him at some distance along the neatly bordered trail. He hopes he has lost me as my lurk trepans through his skull, shadowing. He thinks it an evil path, hears snaking in the air the reed-shaped whip he tried to forget, sees its coiling shadows as we continue, each in his pilgrimage up the slope toward our rendezvous. The school's long frowning eyebrow, awning eyeless in a shaggy murk of mist. Warned. You stand warned, I said. In his parked car, the burly man fidgeted. The thrill ride waiting for you inside that ordinary-looking storefront has more than you may think. Like the man sitting beside you on that ride will be wearing chains, heavy chains around him. He'll be chained, and what is more, we, both my wife and I, knew there was more, the really crucial part, the thing about that ride that made it something to warn people about. Leaning inside his car window, I tried to make my intensity convey that one other thing. He looked impatient, half angry, as if I was nuts. You stand warned.